Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicelocke. We have leveled up. It's time to figure out what paths our characters are taking. Now you got options. Right. Lots of options. 3 options each, technically. That's a lot. What are we going for? Who would like to start?
Who wants to start?
I suppose I can get mine. Yeah. I can get mine out of the way quickly. So for Mithra, I have elected to go with the combos. I don't know if you have these posted somewhere or they can be shown. So I have elected to, for Mithra, we are going to go with the con +2 and giving them silent flight, camouflage.
Ooh, really? I thought for sure you were going to go Dex +2 on Mithra.
Nope. I have elected to go with the con. There's a few reasons for it to do with stats and like the bonuses it gives me. I could have gone con or dex, but I elected to go for con specifically because I think as Gray evolves and as this continues, I think, suppose hypothetically, like our characters survive and they continue doing things, he would be doing a lot of solo scouting, or let's say there's like, we end up going to war with the Songless. He sees himself as someone that would go into their lands, you know, and I think I want to focus on Mithra's utility and their scouting purposes as opposed to trying to make them go into combat.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do.
All right. Mithra +2 con. Love to see it. Now, how does that affect your con? You have less con than Mithra by default?
Yep, I have 6 at default, which means that currently Mithra's 8 con is boosting me to 7. Mithra going to 10 con is actually going to boost me to 8.
Excellent, and that's going to give you +1 HP per level, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to move Mithra to 10. Let's move you to 8. And let's give you 4 extra HP, because you're level 4 now, right? Yeah.
Level 4, but we haven't rolled our HP yet, so.
Got it. Okay. 3 extra HP plus a better die roll this time around. Excellent. And that will also boost Mithra's HP, but we'll do that all together. What about Hethys? Where are we going, Hethys? Strength, Dex, Con, Blindsight, Scales, Poison?
I was very interested in the strength, like the blind sight and the camouflage seemed like pretty cool utility. But ultimately, I decided to go with the dex, so the hardened scales. So that's 2 dex, and then the hardened scales grants 3 AC.
And +3 AC from the hardened scales. Very nice. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose that?
Yeah, I just think about, I feel like I've been using Hethys very passively. So I kind of wanted to beef Hethys up a little bit, maybe a little more combat capability. I feel like could have been useful. And then Dex, you know, for monks is just incredibly strong, right? It seems like it scales really strongly. So I figured I would just keep going all in on that.
Nice. Okay, well, Hethys is going to go from 16 to 18 Dex, which is very nice. That on its own will give +1 AC, and then the hardened scales is another 3. So that's a total of +4 AC for a total of 17 AC. That's right. Yeah, 17 AC. And you will get a +1 to your dex as that brings you up. That'll bring you to 15, which isn't quite a +1 to your modifiers yet, but there are options ahead of us. Now, actually, yeah, let's go on to Damir.
Yeah.
What did you choose?
So, in the theme of getting better at what we're already good at, I think I already mentioned a little bit last time. I think the con +2 on Damir sounds really good. The reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack really plays well into like the support tank kind of role that the elk is being put in here. As much as I would like to not have to charge the slingshot, I just think that that's like the most useful thing that the elk does.
All right. Let's add 2 con to Dom here, over here, and Alabaster as well. That'll bring you to 10 con, which is very nice because that'll give you +1 HP across the board on all your levels. 2 con over here. Give +1 HP for every level of Domiers as well. Excellent. Love to see it. And you also hit level 4, everybody, which means you also got to choose between feats and bonuses to your stats. How did we feel about these?
KTZ.
So we discussed last time, you said we are very fey creatures, and thus are eligible for elven accuracy. And considering that Gray has primarily been a sharpshooter and is taking his shots where he can, and it fits in, I've decided to go for elven accuracy.
And for the people who don't know what that is, brief summary?
Essentially, so it's a +1 to dex, and in your rolls, it only applies to bow shots, but when you make an attack roll with advantage, which I essentially always do because I'm attacking from darkness, or I can use steady aim, and that's sort of the rogue thing. Instead of rolling 2d20, I roll 3d20.
Turns your advantage with bows into super advantage.
For those curious, the math, when you roll at advantage, I believe it's your average dice roll is like a 13.8 or something. But if you roll 3d20, your average d20 roll is a 15.
That's nice. That's very nice. Now, that'll also give you a +1 to hit. Not 1 to hit. Well, +1 to dex, right? Which will bring your dex to 16.
Yep.
Let's bring you to 16. That'll be another 1 to your AC, and 1 to hit with your bows, and 1 to damage with your bows. Very strong. Excellent. And Iskar, what did you choose? Did you choose a feat or some stat buffs?
I just want to go with some stats and go with more dex.
Nice. Okay.
I just feel like because of my ability to attack multiple times, the more I lean in on that, the better, right?
Let me just do the quick math here. Let me find your base character sheet. Want to make sure that we update the dex right.
I spent a lot of time looking at Moxi's character, and it's really the way their stats are rolled. It's very awkward with the way the bonding works. There's like no way for them to actually get like with this level up, even boosting themselves and Hethys, there's no way for them to get the dex bonus but also boost another stat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm able to get the con and the dex because of how my stats rolled. There's no way for Moxi to do it.
There's no way for Moxi to get con and dex?
Or yeah, there's no way for Moxi to get like multiple stats up to a threshold, no matter the combination of stats they take and the stats that Hethys takes.
Okay, because Moxi, your dex at base is 11, and now Hethys's dex at base is 8. So the difference is 7, so you're gaining 4 dex from that. If you boost your dex by 1, then you go to 12 versus 18. It's by 3. You get +3. That's only 5. Yeah, so you need to boost your dex twice to get to the 16 you're looking for. Is that right? Yeah.
Is this after considering the boost to Hethys?
This is after the boost to Hethys, unfortunately. Yeah, you'll have to put both your points of dex in here, and then you'll get to 16.
Gotcha.
But that is +1 AC, +1 hit, +1 damage across the board. Did that update automatically? Yes, perfect. Okay, love it. Love it. And last but not least, we have White of Alabaster.
Yeah, so everyone kept telling me, White's gonna get one shot by everything. He's so low HP, he's so frail. People in chat were like, you gotta take the tough feat. You gotta take the tough feat, Chow. Other people were telling me this too. But then also, I like to do my characters, Koibu. I
Oh, yeah.
don't like to metagame them too much.
No.
And I do feel like that. If anything, Alabaster has grown more wise over the course of this. So I'd like to just get a stat boost in wisdom.
+2 to wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be your spell attacks will go up.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And my spell saves, right?
And your spell saves, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, now let's do some hit points.
Oh,
Starting with the same order, we're going to start with KTZ and Mithra. It's time to update all the HP together. So, you're level 3 presently. You've gained a +1 HP from con. So let's just bump your HP by 3 right away. So that'll bring you to.
Oh, I already did that.
You already did? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, in that case, I need you to roll me HP. D8 minus
-1
1
instead of 2 now. It's a huge step.
Mm-hmm.
Average.
Average. Very nice. And we need to update Mithra's HP. They are now 3d4, not 3d4 minus 3.
I updated their base from this level as well, so I'll just roll them.
Oh, that 10 is the new one already?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, it's
D4.
3d4.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. 4d4 HP is 11 hit points. Not bad. Going to Iskar Green and Hethys. Iskar, you get another D8 for hit points. Let's roll it. Nice.
Not bad.
5 will bring you to 20 HP. Whoops, not 20 AC. It'll bring you to 26 HP. There we go. Don't want to update that AC. And Hethys gains an extra D4 HP as well. Another 1. Oof. 44, 9 HP, but 17 AC. The tankiest, or at least the hardest to hit thing, probably in all of Toman society, except for Displaced Beasts, maybe. And last but not least, we have White of Alabaster and Damir. Mr. Alabaster, you have gained 1 con, so all of your HP should go up by 3. That should bring you to 14 and 14. And now I need you to roll me a D8 for HP.
Ooh, let's go.
There you go. 20 hit points. Damir
Massive.
has gained 2 con, so goes up by 4 HP because they have an extra hit die to start. So they should go to 30, and then I need you to roll me a D10 plus 2 for additional HP.
Feeling good on this one.
Ooh, it's a 3.
Why do I speak?
33 HP for Damir. All right. Leveled up across the board. We've got it all. Party.
This is all factoring in already the higher con for Dom here applying to my character and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Yes, I think
Yeah,
I did that correctly. And if I didn't, someone on the internet will shout at me about it.
Yep.
I
Okay.
think the funniest was that we had like one of our early more intense combats where we had like Moxi had like half the HP they actually had. That was a great one.
And yet, it worked out just fine.
It did.
Almost. Mostly. It was fine. It was fine.
Completely fine.
Completely fine. So, party. What do you want to do now? You've got a prisoner. You got a few words you can speak with them. Do you take them back to the rest of your society and parade them through the streets? Do you hide them away in a cave somewhere where no one can find them and figure out what to do on your own? Do you just kill them?
So I think. Go ahead.
So last time we spoke about this prisoner, and our plan, to sort of refresh, is that we're going to bring them and keep them within the barrier, however, not further fully within Toman society. Our plan is to have myself and Iskar remain and watch over and communicate with them, while White of Alabaster goes to consult with his father and the Sun and Moon, Keeper of the Sun and Moon, because the fact that we have found this is the first time in history that we have ever actually had a song list with which to communicate somewhat. We believe that it could be a very pivotal thing. We've learned a lot in terms of how they view us from him, and naturally we need to consult the leaders of our people for this. However, we want to keep it very much on the down low for now. So that's our plan. We're going to take care of this man, and when we sort of get to us finding a place, there are things we want to sort of attempt to discuss with them, but we're going to watch them while White takes the trip back to Crocodipolis.
Okay. And it's just White. So let's do it. Back to Crocodipolis you go. And where did you say that you were all going to be staying, those that weren't going? Just in a village, in a cave? What's the locale where you're putting down?
You mentioned that I forget what it was, but we know a place where Tomans start to actually concentrate. We're in the barrier, but where we start to actually run into them. We're gonna have a pretty remote location, probably near a cave, near a water source, somewhere relatively comfortable.
Okay.
As far as it can be for him. So.
Okay. Cozy, but definitely well out of the sight of society.
Absolutely.
And not a particularly known place, just something convenient in the area that has water and shelter. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Alabaster, we're going to figure out what happens with these folks later. Why don't you take us into the big city?
All right.
Oh, real quick, one thing, Grace, real quick, this thought just hit me. We recovered a few things from the Songless camp which are strange to us. Gray's going to tell White of Alabaster that you should bring back some of those things because this person maybe can show us how they work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good idea.
That's all from me.
I think we had some linen or whatever. Or there was just a bunch of little knickknacks, artifacts.
Mm-hmm. You bring the artifacts back. You take a couple days to get to Crocodipolis. Well, actually, maybe only one day because you can ride the elk. And you plod in through the city streets. The little bits of dirt, the occasional stones laid down, cows and oxen and their connected towmen hanging around, the big warm bayou of the swamp with lots of little alligators sunning themselves, or crocodiles, sunning themselves on ponds, on little shores, on logs, on buoys that have been placed out by their bonded towmen so they have a nice cozy place to rest. It's a lovely, slow day here in the middle of summer.
Yeah, I think I'll search out my father immediately. Not waste any time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not hard. You find him. He is over here. He's let's just roll a d10. Is it an emergency or is this just an ordinary day? It's a regular day. He's gone over to the potter, who's over there throwing cups on a little wheel. Their bonded beast is a little flying squirrel. Doesn't help with pottery at all, but that is just the creature the potter has chose to bond to. A little flying squirrel perches on their shoulder and will occasionally throughout the course of your conversation hop down and scurry across onto a wall and climb up to a different vantage point, float down and kind of land on Damir's antlers. It's a very active little flying squirrel, running, hopping, and squirreling away all over the place. Your father's here with his elk stationed outside, buying some cups when you come in.
I will. Is he like in the middle of the transaction?
They're just talking. You know, they've probably done all their business deals, but you know how you're talking to someone at an arts and crafts fair or a winter market, and they just start telling you about something, and they're just like having a chit chat.
Yeah, I think Wet of Alabaster definitely learned from his father to not interrupt someone having a conversation, and he would probably have gotten scolded for doing just that many times as a child. So instead, he will just nod as he enters and kind of stand waiting for his father to kind of give a signal of like, I'm ready to, have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long. The Potter takes notice of you coming in through the door, says, "Oh, is this your boy?" And, a few moments later, your father pats him on the shoulder and heads out the door. The flying squirrel still resting on Damir's antlers outside.
I greet both the Potter and the squirrel very politely. Nice. And tell him, Illumis blessing upon you. Yeah. Father.
Son?
If I may. There's been a development, and I would like to talk to you about it. Somewhere.
Well, absolutely. It's the high day of summer, halfway through. It's quite the development indeed. We're starting to wind the summer down now, and all that entails. Martha's is high in the sky today. It is her day. Did you make sure to say your extra prayers to Martha on her special day?
Of course.
Good.
It's Father, it's about the song. It's very important. I think we should.
It's always about the song lists. All right, son. Let's go. Let's have a nice chat. And they'll take you down to a tea house situated over the big bayou. Lots of crocodiles sort of lined up, and other tomen bonded with their crocodiles lounging on the hardwood floors of this little tea house, laying down in a nice sunspot with a warm beverage nearby. You can kick your feet off of the balcony flooring and just like dangle them in the water with all the crocodiles. It's totally safe. They're all bonded. They're cool. They're chill. Or you can sit down at a proper table, which is more Japanese style, where you'd like sit on the ground and just kind of scoot under the table rather than nice fancy chairs.
Yeah, I think I would follow my father's lead on this, but I guess if I were to choose, I'd choose whichever location or I guess I'd urge him to like go somewhere where where a conversation can't be overheard.
Yeah. He'll take you to one of the tables off on the far side, a little corner area. He'll order some tea, give you a hold on, wait till the drinks have come and gone and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually there'll be some people putting around, but by and large, you have privacy enough to speak, especially if you speak quietly. If you get animated, someone might overhear you.
Father, as you might know, we went out to find the captured Toman by the songless. It's I do have to report that we haven't found them, but I wouldn't just come to you with reports of a failure. I would. Father, we've captured a songless.
He stops mid-sip of his tea. You didn't bring them inside the barrier, did you?
Where did we bring them?
Inside the barrier.
Somewhere around here, like right at the border's edge, but inside
Yeah.
it.
Well, he thinks. We made sure to leave him at a safe location, and he's guarded by the other two members of the group.
So you didn't bring him to the city?
No. Father, we I think this could be of incredible value to us strategically, don't you think? We've started when we captured him, he spoke in our language to us. He said words.
Full sentences? Or did he speak like a
No.
child?
Well, like a child. It was mostly basic vocabulary, but on our way here, we managed to learn more of their language. I believe I have some ideas of how we could utilize this. It was gross. It was disgusting. Most of the words that they knew were, words like mercy, things that you would hear from a Toman being. He doesn't finish his sentence. But Father, I think the songs could be an incredibly valuable asset to us in solving this crisis.
Please go on.
Well, there's obvious benefits, like learning their language lets us communicate with them. We could try to find out where the captured Toman are. We could try to negotiate a way to have them released. We could try to show them that we could try to show them that we are a sovereign people, that we are capable of... Father, I think we might be able to communicate with them and negotiate with them. But even, and I'm not sure about this myself, because I do still think that they're savage beasts, but they can speak. But even just learning their language in order to imbue our magic with their language could be valuable, don't you think?
What do you think, in your heart, what do you think the best outcome of such a negotiation with the Songless might be? What is the dream you wish to fulfill this way?
There are Toman out there right now who might still be in their captivity, who could be getting tortured right now as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Whose families you have consoled.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, we don't have a way to find them or get them back. This could be the answer to that, right? Isn't every Toman valuable?
Absolutely.
Aren't all their lives equally valuable under the light of Illumis? Isn't that what you taught me?
Absolutely. All of the lives are equally valuable. No one more so than any other. And that's your goal?
We could save them like this.
And tell me, what is the greatest, if things do not go your way, if they go the exact opposite way, what is the absolute worst outcome from this?
Well, I think you're going to say that we could reveal important secrets to them. We could reveal parts of our culture to them that they don't yet know that they could take advantage of, but we've made really sure that doesn't happen. We've taken all the precautions, and we can always just kill this Songless. It's not we have all the power in this situation, Father. We can use this, we can leverage this to our advantage. I don't see how this doesn't swing in our favor.
You're saying the situation can only have upsides and no downsides.
The Toman are already taken hostage. What more can happen?
I don't know. What will happen to this Songless that you've captured? You'll release it one day, won't you? Or do you plan to kill it no matter how this goes?
Well, I think that if we release them back, having communicated to them that we are willing to negotiate a release of the hostages, because we've shown him that we can release him too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think we could release him at some point. I don't think he knows anything that he could reveal that would be valuable to them.
Do you think that might encourage these creatures to seek out regular contact? That might
Could.
encourage them to specifically seek our borders, since they would know where we are.
Well,
Isn't this inviting
Again-
them into our home on some level?
Father, they're already encroaching on our borders. They've sullied our holiest sites. They're moving in every day as we speak.
Mm-hmm. And
Sometimes, Father, I feel like you don't see the reality of what is happening, the movements, the change that is happening. You just accept it for what it is, and you view it as static, but it's not. We're losing. We have to change something. We have to turn things around.
my son, you are very young. There is not... So much seems in motion to you. And you've lived such a gentle life, bar these last few months.
Thanks to you, Father. Yes.
I worry that you believe all sentient beings are good at heart. And all sentient beings will act with honesty, integrity, and respect for one another. That is the world you grew up in. That is the world we inhabit. I don't know how to tell you that outside the bounds of our little world, there is a cruel nightmare. These songless, if they know we are here, and they know they can speak to us, they will batter down our doors to find us. They will not rest until they have conquered us, until we are beneath their heel. Why do you think we are the last Toman in existence? I understand you mean well, but you are naive. You think you can create peace when there is only the opportunity for war. These creatures would lie to you. They would take advantage of your kind heart. If you want to be a peaceful person, leave them be. Leave them as far away from you as possible. Kill the one you have and seek to avoid contact. If you wish to go down this path of connection, it will turn you into a snake. You will not be the elk I raised. You might as well leave Dalmir.
It can't. It's not about. Father, I agree with you that we shouldn't seek permanent peace with them. And I agree with you that they don't have kindness in their heart. I've seen what they do. But I also don't think that they act out of pure malevolence or evil. They act out of their best interest. And with a communication like this, we could show them that sometimes cooperating with us could have their best interest in mind.
You know, I was at the kindergarten last week. We were talking about bonding. We were talking about which beasts we want. And there was a little girl. She was afraid of tigers, but she wanted to bond with a tiger more than anything. And when she was explaining to the rest of the class about how dangerous the tiger is, and yet how if it was her tiger, it would be peaceful, one of the children there had a little thing to say that I think contains a great deal of wisdom. And that is that tiger is going to tiger. These songless, they may not be creatures of absolute malevolence with no redeemable qualities, but they are tigers. And there are thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands of them. And we Well, we are mighty creatures in our own right. We are great elks. But tigers will tiger.
I see. He tries not to get more frustrated and tries to not launch into this argument further. Will this be a wisdom check?
I think so. Ooh, it's not a good wisdom check. 7.
Father, we have tried your approach for so long, and where has it gotten us? It's the Toman will no longer be if we keep going like this. How do you not see this? How do you not see where this is all going? I don't understand. I don't understand why you just want to sit on your hands and just watch them take everything from us instead of trying an approach that's maybe not been tried before. Sure, maybe there's a risk to it. Okay, yeah.
Crises come and crises go. Do not let them sway you from your true path. Do not let them upset you. Do not let the urgent outweigh the important. And do not bring that creature into any village. Do not let them see what we have. And if you do, you must surely put them down, as you would a dog with rabies.
Our people won't be for much longer if we keep this up. He leaves. He is going to...
What's he feeling walking away from that? Anger, frustration, sadness, rage? Yeah. What do we got?
White is frustrated. He feels helpless, and he also feels like that. It's that feeling where you've been taught so many things for so long from someone who you look up to and respect, and once you start seeing that they just have to be wrong in this one way, you start questioning every other thing that they've taught you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like a fundamental like belief crisis for him, and he'll walk off into the forest a little bit with Dom here and just kind of try to pray about it and meditate and keep his hand on the elk and hear the sounds of the forest, all the things that he does. But I feel like he's too aggravated and frustrated and has too many thoughts racing in his head to really go anywhere with this prayer. So after a short while, he gets up frustrated, paces back and forth, kicks a tree or something. I think he wants to talk to the sun and moon about this. Because obviously his father is too stubborn to see, and maybe they will have a different view on this.
You mean the old retired waning setting sun? Or do you mean like just a local keeper of the sun and keeper of the moon?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure there would be a pair of them that...
Absolutely. They're around all over the place. Yeah. You can easily find one. That's their whole purpose.
Like a local one that he would probably be closest to and kind of like have interacted with the most and stuff, and that he feels like would have like insight and influence on this and stuff like that.
Yeah. You head to your local sun. Your local keeper of the sun. Absolutely. So to remind us, Keeper of the Sun generally deals with external affairs, and Keeper of the Moon generally deals with internal affairs. and there tend to be two separate people until that rare time that they bond. Which are you more looking for right now? Are you looking for a keeper of the sun or a keeper of the moon?
Tell me one more time what role they inhabit.
A keeper of the sun deals with the world around us, the gods, the external things to us, whereas the keeper of the moon deals with the self, the soul, the origin of our people, and our bonds with our creatures and one another.
Yeah, it would be the keeper of the sun.
Yeah. You go find a keeper of the sun. You've known this one. You've spoken with him before. Get to my notes. Yes, his name is Scylla. Scylla of Sand. He's a keeper of the sun, which means he's an unbonded Toman. Okay. You find him. He's hanging out in his little temple-y area. It's a small round building, thatched roof with a big hole over the top that lets a beam of sunshine fall through. He spends most of his days here. Most of the time he doesn't have anyone coming for advice, and yet this is where he can be found, sitting, relaxing. Occasionally, he has duties elsewhere, but today, here he is in his little, small, cozy, respectable, humble little hut with a little sunbeam shining down in front of him. Greetings.
You said his name was Scylla?
Scylla.
Scylla, great unbonded. I've come to you seeking advice and seeking to tell you important news.
Of course. I'm here for you as I always have been, White of Alabaster. Please.
So, he sits down. As you might know, there have been worrying developments regarding the Songless recently. Or maybe I should rather ask, how do you feel about what's recently been happening regarding the Songless?
I feel these events echo the great past. They echo a time when we were beset by foes, a time when we had friends who helped build us shelter, friends we could rely upon to make our world sensible and safe and whole. And yet, these days we are without friends.
It's a worrying time, isn't it?
I would say every generation comes with its worries, and now certainly qualifies. It's a great worry.
It feels like they're encroaching on our land and on our space more and more. They're taking down our holy sites. They're taking Toman hostage, and I'm of the belief that we ought to do something. We ought to not just hide away and wait and hope for the best and hope that we can just defend what we have, but that we need to change something about the current situation. I know that it sounds like young foolishness and overeagerness speaks out of me, but I've seen what they've done to our land. I've seen what they do, and it's I just feel like there's so much more that we can do.
Mm-hmm. You would like to do something for the good of your people.
That's right. That's what I was raised to do.
A noble
and
venture.
Sometimes I feel like the ways in which we act as a whole is sometimes not for our good. It's done with good intentions, but not with good outcomes. And I've talked to my father about this a lot, and he stops himself getting too much into that part of it. I'm sure you have also heard of the Tomen that have been taken hostage, and it's all very, very worrying. And me and 2 others, we went out and ventured out to try to find them, to try to rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't find them. But in our endeavors, we managed to get winning blow after winning blow on the Songless. We almost eradicated one of their encampments. We finally, at the end of all it, we captured one of them. We have one of them in captivity right now outside. And I believe this to be an incredibly valuable asset for not just getting the Tomen back, but establishing some sort of line of communication. And he kind of talks about the same things that he talked about with his father already, and why he thinks this would be a good thing. And just looks at Scylla hopingly that he will have some sort of other reaction, that he will not tell him that, he's being crazy.
Scylla thinks on all the things you say. I cannot speak to your motivations, or how this may change you, or how this may impact you. For that, you must find Rivergreen, Keeper of the Moon. But I can say that we have lived a long, good life in our place because of our friends, because we have been cognizant of the outside forces, and we have taken measures against the outside world. We have protected ourselves from the outside for as long as memory holds, and we will always need to protect ourselves from the outside. Something ought to be done. Something always needs to be done. But how? How can you and your friends fight off so many? The Songless number in the hundreds of thousands. Would you set out and find us friends amongst them? Would you set across the salty seas and to the lands far beyond the horizon and find new friends for us here? Or would that only serve to bring attention and suspicion and disaster upon us?
I believe that the Songless expand with the interest of conquest in mind, but not just conquest for the sake of conquest. They want to expand. If they find a land that is littered, that is infertile and littered in dangerous, sharp rocks and is inhospitable, they won't expand there, will they? They're not expanding into the sea.
So we should burn down our homeland?
No, but we should show them that this is dangerous ground, that it's not worth it for them, but also that we can be negotiated with, and that we aren't just a weed to pull out of the ground, that this land is ours and that we are sovereign, and that they must stop encroaching on it. And if I believe that they are smart, I believe that they're capable of speech, after all, there must be at some point an understanding that it cannot be worth it. Because if we keep fighting back the way that we have in the past, just inch by inch, needle by needle, stab by stab, little cut by little cut, they'll realize that they maybe have the forces, but we know this land, we know the creatures here, we are in tune with it, and we have the light of Illumis on our side. And maybe they'll understand that this is land that's not worth being conquered to them.
There is nothing you have said that I disagree with. All I ask you to consider is that their numbers are great. Impossibly so. How many Tomen do we have? I don't think anyone's ever made a count, but certainly not more than 5,000? Not more than 10,000? Their numbers here in our homeland alone, tens that times, hundreds of thousands of them. How could you possibly make such a splash, make such an impact as to make them take notice? They're like ants. You can kill 1,000 ants and the hive will still come. It'll still churn. The only way to get rid of ants is to destroy the whole nest or to kill their queen. How would you do that with the Songless? How would you have enough impact?
I don't know. But I do know that there's one way that you definitely cannot fight off an ant infestation.
And that's to let them do whatever they want.
That's right.
Yes.
You have no insight, ideas, or opinions on what we should do with this Songless?
I look into our past and I see that we had friends. Friends who came here by chance. Maybe it's time we find some of our own. I don't know how to cross the salty seas. But if you could, maybe you could find us some hope, some relief, some aid. Or perhaps the solutions lie here. Perhaps you find their queen. Perhaps they have many queens. Perhaps there's 100 queens. I don't know. But perhaps you can strike a singular blow large enough to reorient their ambitions and pray that it does not make them more violent.
It feels good to speak to someone who sees where I'm coming from and is making sense and sees the urgency of the situation. I wish that my father could do the same. Thank you, Scylla.
Your father is a wise man. He has lived a long time. He has grown very comfortable with the way the world is. Sometimes that comfort can lead to obediency.
You've said nothing I disagree with.
I hope this has been of use to you and of value to you. And I encourage you to speak out River Green and learn the other side of this, unless that is settled in your heart already.
I think White has never felt so encouraged and sure in his life, and I think he's also of that age and disposition where seeking out a counter to what he really wants and beliefs is not in his interest.
You can leave.
He bows. May the light of Illumis shine upon you.
May Martha confer her blessings on you, and may Illumis always warm your brow and your back.
And he leaves.
All right. Head back to the rest of the party. Are we satisfied?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'll take all the little bits and bobs that we got from the Songless encampment and take them back with me.
Perfect. The rest of the party has been back with this Songless captured. How are we keeping this Songless around? Do we keep a guard on him? Is there constantly a snake wrapped around his neck ready to bite him? I know we don't have like handcuffs. How do we keep an eye on him?
What we've done is we've had Hethys around his neck for the most part. That's how we transported him. He doesn't have his weapons. We're going to store those somewhere, his weapons and armor. As we're traveling there, Gray's going to sort of hide and bury them somewhere because carrying them with us in case he tries to escape. We have the snake on him, but one thing that Gray is going to try very hard to impart using the words we have found as we go deeper into the woods. And sort of, we have a few days to do this. The core things he wants to get across are, the first thing this man said was mercy. Gray wants to let him go. He intends to let him go. And he's going to try and express that. And I'm thinking, what do you guys think is like this is something we would discuss, a reasonable promise to make? 10 days, is that enough for White to go back? Would we know 10 days is enough for White to go back, speak, and then come back and maybe... I think 10 days... He's going to try, and he can like point at the... Oops, sorry. He's going to constantly do things like point at the sky, hold up 10, because this is obvious, right? Like holding up the sun, 10. Once they get to the place where we're going to keep him, and then he's going to sort of mercy and release. He's going to try and like find those words or like explain it. Like maybe he'll hold, he can like hold like string to him. We don't have rope with us. He'll bring it back, but like he'll hold his wrist and then like release it, like let it go and use the word to like explain the word release, you know? And he's going to point towards the sky, the sun, 10, and then like hold him and then hold it and like repeat that over and over again until it seems that he understands that. He doesn't want to hold, and the core idea is he doesn't want to hold this guy forever, but they're going to hold him for a time. And that's the first thing he's going to sort of explain. Because when you have this prisoner, if they have, from their perspective, he's only barely communicating with us. He doesn't know if there's any certainty, right? But if we give them something like that to hold on, that at least like puts in their mind the idea of some sort of like hope, you know? I think explaining that him trying to run away would be very bad for him is too nuanced, because like the forest is really fucking... But as we get closer, he's going to see the forest is sort of like deeper and more vivid and rich, you know? And they have rumors about this. So Gray is basically focused first and before anything else, before we try to communicate with him anymore, the idea that they're only going to hold him for 10 days. That is his entire goal first.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like this creature understands the concept of, you know, time and 10, and especially by the second day where it's like 9 days and you're pointing at the sun. This seems to be a pretty easy concept. Is there anything you want to extract?
Okay. This man, so they eat a lot. Those are the things we learned from them. He likes fish. They don't like the roots that we have.
Yeah, they're not a fan of the roots.
So I suppose we'll be somewhere. We're gonna try and keep them relatively like comfortable and well fed as much as we can. If they have sort of like any discomforts, Gray is probably constantly out and about. I'm trying to think, is there anything specific we want to communicate with them? I don't think until Alabaster comes back. I don't think we're going to try to interrogate them. We're just going to maintain that sort of like silent stewardship. There is one thing Gray's going to do. He's going to make sure that he's a little bit out of sight at times in the woods, and he's going to constantly make different pitched bird calls. Part of this is it may be to give them the impression that there's a lot more of them out there, that we're more populated, you know? How they take it can depend, but he's that's basically it. He wants them to know that he's going to be released in 10 days, and then aside from that, just wait for White to return.
And Iskar, is there anything that you want to do with this creature or think should be done or want to test or try or... Got any
Iskar's
plans?
keeping a pretty close watch just naturally because his, bonded beast is around our prisoner's neck, so he just kind of wants to keep a close watch, make sure nothing, crazy happens. I think what he's currently occupied with is really thinking about the words that we learned last time when we first interrogated him before we brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
So really, metropolis and I think exile was one of those words, right?
Yes. He had pointed at himself and said exile, Vilish, and Durna were all things that he'd pointed at himself to describe.
And then bean case was one too, right?
Yeah, he's talked about Metropolis and Bean Case. As if they're
so I think
related
Iskar
words
has-
somehow.
Iskar's got some crazy theories floating around in his head, just trying to make sense of all that, what it could mean, how we could extract more meaningful information out of him that can maybe give more context to those words. Metropolis especially, I think, because, it sounds like it might be referring to Crocodipolis. So there could be something there and, makes Iskar wonder what does our prisoner know about where we're from, aside from the barrier? What do they know about our home inside the...
So are you
walls.
trying to ask them questions? Are you doing the grunting and pointing things, or is this more of an internal reflection?
This is all internal. He's waiting till the party's together again, till Alabaster returns, and he's just kind of thinking about how to go about it, trying to make some sense of it, just a deep in thought.
Yeah, well, Alabaster comes back just a few days later. 17th of August, the whole party's gathered around. Alabaster rides in on the elk, finding you guys. It's a gentle summer's rain here in the valley. A little bit of water hitting the tree leaves, showering down around you. Everyone taking a little bit of shelter. Sun is still shining throughout most of the valley despite the rain. It's a calm, quiet, and peaceful moment as White of Alabaster returns.
He rides in on Dom here. And he'll just report what's been going on. We don't have to rehash all of it. But the essence that he wants to communicate is he thinks that we're on the right path. He doesn't think that we're going to get any support from Crocodipolis, and he thinks that we should try to... I'll roleplay this. I believe that, especially after having talked to Scylla, the songs might be a more valuable asset than we even initially thought. If we can find out more about their structure, their social structure, the way that things are set up, we could potentially greatly multiply the impact that we can have with our attacks. The more we learn about them, the better. The more effective our attacks can be. Obviously, the goal is to get the captured Toman back, but we should try to use this opportunity to learn as much as we can about the Songless.
I agree. There is one thing which I was considering. This man understands our language to a degree, but perhaps it shares a similar root. Perhaps there are other Songless who have a much better grasp of it that we can actually communicate with more fully. I think my inclination is to speak with this man, learn what we can, but I do wish to return them. I wish to return them and use them perhaps as a messenger. You will recall that they thought of us as goblins, uncivilized creatures that just attacked them. If there is someone amongst the Songless that has a greater master of our language that we can communicate with properly, I think that this is our best way to actually interact with them.
I agree. I think, I don't know how much we have to gain from communicating with him, but I think attempting to use him as a messenger could be good. So do you think we should try to teach him to, or to try to communicate to him that we want to open a line of communication somehow?
Yes, I think that is the best way to go about it. Focusing on a singular concept, because the desire, they understand mercy, the desire for mercy, the desire to speak, negotiate, those are things which they don't want to walk into the woods and have to fear being slain either. I don't believe that. They may wish to conquer us. This may lead to us just continuing our war, but we're going to get information regardless. Even if we learn that they are willing to negotiate, they are willing to speak to us, perhaps any form of information, it might benefit them, but it'll also benefit us. I mean, that's what it is. This is something that will shake up the status quo, and by acting and our people have been caught in a long cycle of inaction, in a sense, and I think that we need to take initiative with this, and even if it leads to potentially bad outcomes, I think that those eventually, your father said it himself, eventually doing nothing, our way of life will disappear. So I think that we must be bold in this, and yeah, I think we simply need to be bold with this, and I think we need to focus on using him as a messenger to go back and tell stories about us. They may be terrible stories. He may say that we are horrible creatures that like torture them, etc. But that will do something. It'll inspire some action in them. The ideal result is that he is able to find someone that can communicate with us again more effectively. That's where my inclinations are.
I agree. I think this is an opportunity for us, and I think we can make something big and new happen here. Try something that's not been tried before, and even if we fail, at least it's been tried.
Yeah, and with using him as a messenger, I think a lot of the message he sends is going to be based on his experience here, how we treat him, and I think we've kind of talked about taking good care of him, keeping him fed, treating him with kindness, and if that's something he brings back and tells the other songless, that's a powerful message in itself. And like you said, like Gray said, it does break the status quo, but we have to be bold. We have to make big moves.
Mm.
All right. So, okay, how do we want to go about this? I think we need to make sure that he can relay a certain message for us, right? That's like the priority right now. Yes.
Furthermore, I have pledged that I will return him in 10 days. I thought that a reasonable amount. He needed to have some idea that there is a future for him, that we are there. So, and the fact that we hold to our word will make our message more effective.
Aside from, drawing on the ground with like a stick, what do we have access to in that department that we could use?
Well, you don't have paper, but you do still have like paints on leather or paints on ceramic, paints on bodies, paints on faces. You can find large rocks and make drawings, or use powdered sand to craft larger pictures, sort of like a Buddhist mandala. There are a lot of different art forms. They're all a little bit slow, but you can definitely create whatever, a lot of different forms.
Okay. So better than a stick in the ground. That's good.
Yeah.
Did we ever take note of what kind of things we brought back from the camp that we can show to him, that we can get him to help us understand?
Yeah, you can get some words for some of these things. You're going to get the word for... We'll catch them up. You'll get the word for rope, weapon, armor,
Mhm.
And these will be in the songless tongue.
Right.
Rope, weapon, armor. What's it? Cross. Glass. Torch. You already had fire. That was already something that you guys could
Yeah.
communicate. Armor, glass, torch, weapon, armor. Oh, you will get
We got-
flag.
We got earth
Flag?
and water as well,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, earth, water, fire, poison, gust. Yeah. I think those are the words you get.
Cool. And does he show us like what to do with them, how to use them, and stuff like that? Like, I'm sure most of these are like pretty self-explanatory. Like we can see a rope and understand what we would do with it.
Yeah, but he'll tie it in knots very quickly in ways that
Mhm.
you would never have realized you could do. And the power of being
Mhm.
able to bind this together with this in such a way that is, fully immovable is a useful skill. Their technology so advanced. Not that you don't have ropes, like you have sinew for bows, so clearly you have some sorts of strings, but this is just thicker, longer, seemingly could be made to any length. I mean, it's the scale that really does it for you, and the thickness, the strength of it. Yeah.
I just realized I have no idea what they used to make rope out of back in the day.
Jute, hemp, silic. Can't remember its name. Sassil. And if you want to go back further, you can just use certain types of very young bark when it's like thin and green on the inside. You can do some sorts of reeds and dried fronds, but those are a little weak.
Yep. Yeah, we had them teach us the words for and show us how to use some of the materials that we had. So it was rope, weapon, armor, glass, torch, flag.
Mm-hmm. In their tongue.
Yep.
All right. Well, you've learned a little more. You've got your plan. Well, you've got your theory. You've got your theory. You've got your strategy. The strategy is important. The tactics. What are the acute action items?
So, in terms of communication like this, sort of similar to how I did the thing with like Sun in 10 Days, I think it's important to focus on like very simple concepts. So we need to think of what's the important things for him to understand. We have it down that we are going to release him. Okay, what are we going to do in the meantime? He used mercy as the form of surrender. I think mercy is a good word that we sort of like focus on and constantly reference back to, because when we're sort of building this communication, it's sort of like a web, like a tree, right? Like association.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea I think we should focus on is, so we want him to be a messenger for mercy. We want to use him to express a desire for us to open communication with them larger. What's the best way for us to do that? Well, on him as a messenger, I think is sort of like a core thing that we need to get to, and we can sort of talk about how we sort of find the relationships of words to that. But focusing on him as a messenger and the idea of mercy and talking, I think that if we can solidify those two core concepts, sort of like that we're going to release him and he's going to be a messenger, and that we want to talk, negotiate, discuss mercy, though that's like the foundation of where we should start, right? Anyone disagree?
I agree.
Makes sense.
How does this is another interesting question. What do they do during the day? How do they like because we obviously are used to living in the forest, right? It's something you don't think of like as a person who lives in society, right? What would you do if you're just out in the forest all day? And we're used to that as the Tomen. But how do these songless behave just in like normally?
This is a You mean normally outside of your interaction, outside of
Well,
this captive, or do you mean how is this captive behaving?
Yeah, how is this captive behaving?
Got it.
Because we just like threw out that it was.
Well, the first thing is they realize they're not tied up or shackled down, but they've got this snake wrapped around their neck. And at some point, they try like sneaking off or like trying to maybe wander out of view. But of course, Hethys can tell as soon as Iskar is like, I'm not happy with how far this person has gone. And Hethys can just feel that and immediately like tighten up a little bit or maybe lift the head and impart I might bite you. And so it becomes very, very easy to keep them captive. You don't have to say anything. Iskar can just like feel that they're going too far, and Hethys will let it be known that this is a wrong thing to do. So their first actions are maybe get up and wander and then begin to walk and come back to camp right away and then go out and do this. And you have some interesting experiences where they're trying to let you know they need to go to the bathroom or something like that, and they want a little bit of privacy. And I imagine since Hethys knows your intent, you don't actually need to keep eyes on them. So if you could, in theory, let them have a moment by themselves to relieve themselves, and Hethys could keep a eventful eye on them, or you could watch them like that. More or less, they're just sitting or standing around, lots of pacing if they are permitted to pace, sort of picking at sticks and bark. And as time passes and there's just not a lot to do, maybe you're busy, maybe your communication lessons are paused, maybe one of you is going out to get food or something, they'll do a lot of sort of snapping branches and just sort of like stripping the bark from the branches or getting a rock and just like scratching at wood. It's a lot of just sort of idle agitation that takes the form of breaking the things around them. Breaking rocks together.
One interesting thing that you should definitely bring back to them. Right? I kept a note of what things that, like, when we first recovered these things, we gave some things away, but we kept a few things. We have canvas, we have barrels, we have a lantern, we have a broken wagon wheel, which probably is like, we still have no idea what the fuck that is. The broken wagon wheel is a complete mystery to us.
Yeah.
So that's something we definitely, we want to like give it to them and like questioningly. So we have these things which we found and sort of like curiosity. So I guess we give them to them as toys to play with, maybe. But we are gonna sort of try and let them have their privacy. One note on that: Mithra is gonna be very, very obvious. Mithra will be on Gray's shoulder and probably constantly watching them. And maybe there's a time where they're like wandering off and they see that Mithra is like in the tree or something staring at them, right? But it's going to be very clear that this hawk knows.
Yeah that makes sense. Well, they can play with their toys, they can play with their wagon wheel, their lantern, which is what they call a torch, or a fire torch, something like that, fire torch glass. And that's what they've been up to.
Okay. Gray's going to ask this then. How much do we want to interact with them directly as captors or as just interacting and trying to... Do you want to attempt to be friendly with them? Gray will ask the others. Perhaps a gift, or try and understand things, show them things that we do. Do we want to interact as people, or do we want to stay as captors?
I think the most important thing for them to understand is that we could have killed this Songless, but we didn't.
I think they're pretty clear of that, says Gray.
Yeah. I don't think that a gift is necessary. I think us releasing them like that cannot be misinterpreted as anything but a gesture of reaching out. And I think anything more, he thinks back to the conversation he had with his father, would perhaps be a sign of weakness to them.
We don't want to overdo it, overextend ourselves with the gesture.
Yeah.
Allow them some degree of freedom, but in that we are also establishing a sense of control, because they can wander, they can do as they wish around here, but our eyes are always on them. We can appear He says, perhaps that is also something which I will do, is I will just appear out of... Yeah, that's actually something Gray's going to do then, too. The Hawk and Gray are going to make a note of, like, following the song list, and when they're, like, chilling, he's just going to appear there. Like, you know, just sort of sneak out and appear, just to have his presence there. Just have it feel like he's always watching. But allow them to do their thing.
That means they're free to roam to a certain extent.
A little bit, right? But
Okay.
we have the snake, like, sort of tightening the leash, but... like, we don't need to bind them, right? But there is always that sort of like.
I think another thing to communicate to them that they should gain understanding of is that we know this land. Like, we are almost effortlessly able to like navigate and understand, because in their perspective, where they're at right now, it must be pretty like confusing and they're hopelessly lost, just wandering somewhere in the forest. So maybe doing some sort of maneuvers where we like keep returning to the same part of like a stream, right, even though we're wandering off in completely different directions and stuff like that. Just show them that, and like being able to find stuff that they would have never been able to see and stuff like that, maybe even with the help of the animals. I think that is really just to communicate. Like, I'm imagining them coming back and being like, they know this land so much better than we do. Like, no wonder they keep like hitting us and we can't like hit the back and stuff like that. Like, just show them like that type of advantage that we have over them. Make him feel almost like when we move, I kind of want us to move fast, right?
Move quickly through the woods and forests.
Yeah, to kind of increase that sense of like disorientation while showing them that we, you know, have that ability.
I had a thought of
yeah.
I had a thought just now of we have like a spot, right? And we actually take Hethus off of him, and we basically say like we're gonna lead them back. We're gonna try and sort of like give them a little exercise of trying to find their way back to a spot. And then in my head, I heard the sound of Koibu rolling wild encounters as a tiger just stumbles upon this song list.
Well, I do think it's a
probably.
really good idea of like showing them that they have no way of finding back, but when we're there, there's no problem. I wonder if we could do this exercise with Hethus watching over him, maybe, or with Mithra watching over him, maybe. But I mean, if a tiger jumps him, it might be too late.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I think they have the idea that.
We give him
So
armor.
that's. Well, no, I buried his armor in a stash somewhere, unspecified. His armor and weapons. He'll get those back. They have like padded stuff underneath it, though, right? Like he has clothes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to. I think what we're trying to communicate is pretty clear.
I think it's very easy to communicate how proficient you are at existing in this environment. The ease with which you move through things, you know, it's your natural terrain. And for this guy, it's stomping through the forest and bending back branches and, you know, carefully testing the ground in front of him and looking for each single step while you guys are able to gaze all around you and move with grace and ease. Yeah.
Yeah, also, White is going to take care. This is just for him personally. He wouldn't advise you guys on what to do. But I guess what we talk about is like, White wouldn't ever feel comfortable praying in front of him, I think. Like, obviously this means that like during dusk and dawn, he like disappears to go off and pray always, and the song doesn't really know what I'm doing, but I think he wants to not give him that insight on that. One, because it's like really personal to him and he still kind of fucking hates this song list, right? But also like he doesn't want to give him any insight on like the actual culture and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Moxi, is there anything else that you think we could communicate to him, teach him, have him be delivered?
Oh, there is one important thing that came to my mind, but Moxie first.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was trying to think if there's any words we could try to leave him with to bring back to them, but
yeah,
I don't think so.
There is something very important, actually. The gods, you said that they have different names for them than we do?
Yep.
Okay. That's something that he's going to talk about. Theirs is, I would like to make this songless swear a vow upon. I am going. And he says, I will offer to pledge a vow to this songless upon Koibu, who is not Velthara. I was in my head. I was like, who would be a god to like make a pact or a pledge of like intent? Which god would be most fitting?
Oh, well, that really depends on the pact. Like there's so many answers to that question. It really depends on your vibe. Like you could make a pact to Ponos, the god of suffering, that if you break your pact, you can have my immortal soul and torture me for all eternity. Like that's a pretty nice oath. But you could also make one to Astaire. He's like the god of order and keeping things together. Fate might be a nice god to make a prayer to. Vengeance. You know, whoever happens to be your chosen deity. Illumis is the most powerful of all the gods by far, so that's also a really good choice.
I think the way to start this first is to first establish that we're talking about the gods. The way to probably do that is Illumis, god of the sun. I know you don't want to show prayer, but this guy's surely familiar with what clerics are. You will have a holy symbol at some point.
Yeah.
But sort of pointing to the sun and saying the name, like our name for Illumis, etc., doing like a gesture of prayer, right? Maybe, or maybe if you do like a cantrip or something. We want to communicate our name for Illumis and sort of learn their name for Illumis. You know what I mean? I think that's the first way we start this, because we need to get it on the topic of the conversation of the gods.
You're trying to, without speaking a language, with only a couple of days, you want to get this person to understand and make a prayer that an oath that you can understand?
It sounds a lot more ambitious when you say it like that, Koibu.
This is a dead end. You waste a day trying to make this character pray to the gods. There's no way this is happening whatsoever.
All I was doing just now was trying to learn their names for the gods.
Sure, yeah, you can get the name for Illumis and Falumbra, the god of the sun and the moon. Easy peasy. And Martha, who's high at the sky on these days, also easy.
Who does this person worship? Who do the songless favor? That tells us a lot about them, actually.
I don't know how you can get favor or worship, but he points to Martha a whole bunch as his favorite. You know, of the three that are easy to identify, Martha is the one he points out. Mm-hmm.
Are the holy symbols consistent between cultures, or would everyone have their own? Yeah,
you make a symbol for Illumis, and that's not the same as him. You make a symbol for Martha, that's not the same as him. The traditional ones that we're familiar with would be his symbols, and you're going to have very different ones.
Yeah. I think this is, if we try to go like too deep, as Kobe said, this is like a bit of a dead end. But if we try to get too nuanced, we're just going to end up wasting time, and we should just focus on getting our core.
So let me try and refocus this. You have basically you've spent a lot of time with this creature. You've learned some of his language. You've learned some of his tools. You've watched him move around. The day is coming soon that you promised to let him go. You've thought that you need to do something about this problem. You have the song lists. I hear the strategy, but what are you going to do? How are you going to stop them? How are you going to save your people? How are you going to fulfill this impossible task with this creature before you?
Our goal is to have them return a message that we are open to communication, and we want to speak with someone because we assume that someone has the language, has like a greater mastery of the language, and as it gets closer, if we were able to, I was taking it step by step, Koibu, but the idea is, I'll sort of like go broad strokes because I'll make it easier. We want to establish that he's a messenger. The next thing we want to do is try and
wait. Let's slow way the fuck down here, because how the hell, like, you don't have language. You can maybe communicate very simple topics, like you've been able to communicate 10 days by pointing at the sun. How would you communicate you are a messenger in a timely manner that is, reasonable? We're going to need a simple idea here, right? You've never spoken their language. They don't speak your language. You have no cultural similarities. You have You are as different as oil and water. We got to distill this down to something basic, really basic.
This, if I had to go it down to 2 words, negotiate peace. Is that like? I'm a spitball here, right?
I think
If we had to,
negotiate
like,
is really hard to.
Yeah. No, no more fight. We want how express the idea of no more fighting.
Yeah, that would be possible because they taught us the word for weapons. I think from there it should be pretty easy.
Weapons and mercy. Perhaps expressing the idea. Don't want fight. We don't want to fight them. We don't want to kill. How do we?
I think what I would do is I would do this repeated action with him over and over again. Where it's like I'm standing across from him and I'm establishing that I'm like kind of explaining a concept, right? Like we've done before where I like point at his mouth, point at mine, stuff like that. And I would point at myself and then like kind of gesture at like the others as well, right? And like a, pointing behind me gestures like me and my people. And then I point at him and like gesture vaguely behind him as if there were other songless there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would be holding my dagger and I would put it to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would make like the speaking symbol, or like I don't know if we established the word for speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just repeat that over and over.
Okay.
And see if he tries to communicate back in ideas or words to me, or like see if there is like a way that he communicates a race that I feel like he maybe understands, because like
he
it's
goes
easier
over
to
and
just
picks up your
repeat that.
dagger. And then he shoves the dagger down into the ground and gives you a single nod.
Yeah.
I have another way to exercise that. This might do it. Near a tree line, we go, the 3 of us. And sort of like we're in a tree line and there's sort of like an open clearing. However many days, like let's say this is the 5th day hypothetically, right? If this is the 5th day, Gray points to the sun, points to him and says, 5th day. And he's going to do that a few times. And then he's going to take the man sort of like by the wrist, right? And he's going to lead him out of the trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he's going to like do that again. He's going to point 5 and he's going to lead him out of the trees. Oh no! What I'm going to do is I'm going to lead Moxi out of the tree. I'm going to like grab Moxi and lead Moxi out of the trees, and then do it with him as well. So I'm going to sort of like try and simulate that. Like I'm going to lead him out of the trees, and then I'm going to grab Moxi, and have White stand on the other side, well away from the tears. We're going to sort of like mime this essentially. Is that I'm going to take him out of the trees, right? Signaling 5 days, and then I'm going to point to him, and then I'm going to point to Iskar, sort of like several times. And I'm going to, the thing he used to refer to himself, right? What was it? He like gave like what we think is maybe a name, right?
Durna, Vilish, Exile, Fool.
Yeah, Durna Vilish. Durna Vilish, we don't know those. He's going to point to Iskar constantly and say Durna Vilish, right? And then what he's going to do is he's going to do the same action. So like letting him watch me. I'm pointing to Iskar saying Durna Vilish, and I'm going to take Moxi. I'm going to walk him out of the trees. And then Iskar is going to go to Alabaster and bring Alabaster over towards the trees where I will greet them.
Mm-hmm.
We are pantomiming essentially, releasing him so that he can bring someone to talk.
Great.
That's what I think is a good way to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, I think the way that we look for understanding is not by him just like repeating things back that we've done, but by him like maybe performing some sort of different action or pantomiming something different, or to this is kind of how language works, right? Is that we like we see him generating like different ways of like expressing the same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you've got it sorted. Time to release him, yeah?
Yeah, I think with all of that, where do we release him?
That
Have
is
we
a
talked about this?
fantastic question.
Yeah.
Where do you want to release this creature?
Probably the same place where similar to the same place that we captured them.
Yeah.
I think actually that's how long of a walk was it? Travel time.
Like 2 days.
I think that's the idea.
Okay. Same place you found him.
Yeah, we're gonna lead them generally that way.
All right. Now, the same place that you found him was technically this outpost where all of his friends died. We're not going to leave them at the outpost where everyone died, right? You're not going to... Are you taking them back to the graves?
Well, we're generally... That area, it was like somewhat along the river, right?
Mm-hmm. It's right next to the river.
Yeah. I think that is actually... I think we do take them back there.
Okay. Well, when you do get back, you'll find that the animals are gone, the creatures are gone, most of the gear is gone, not all of it. The building is intact. It wasn't destroyed or anything like that. It remains just as you had left it. You can plop the songless out in the middle of the field. And then,
well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then they leave. I take it you didn't give them their weapons and armor, right?
No, we are going to give them their weapons.
They get their weapons and armor. Excellent. They don their stuff. It takes them a while. You watch them fuss with buckles and straps and harnesses.
And we are going to... I think at this point, we are going to point at the sun. So this place has been somewhat ruined, but like abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna try and point to the sun and say five. We're gonna point to the sun and say 5 suns, and we're gonna point to probably this like abandoned lodging area.
Mm-hmm.
And hope for the best as we release the songless and never hear from them again. Is the likely result, but.
Okay, and what do you do? Do the 3 of you just camp in this place for the next 5 days?
I don't think we're going to exactly do that. We'll probably be some distance away and then come and check it out.
Okay. So similar to how you were scouting out this fort in the daylight before, you will find a high ground vantage point and watch it from afar, waiting for the songless to arrive?
Yeah. I think describe to me the terrain once we're out of these forests. Like what direction do they start to go to?
They head downhill.
They follow the
river. Yeah.
But in terms of the terrain, how if I was to draw them from the distance, I have Mithra, etc. How forested is it? It's not like open fields, right? Where I would be seen from like super far away.
No, it's wooded for 10 miles downriver and in every direction from this encampment for more miles than that. I mean, there's one area where it's like 3 miles to open grasslands, but everything is woods all around you.
I think I want to tail them from a distance for a while.
Party okay with this?
I think that sounds reasonable, yeah.
I'm good with
Okay.
it.
You guys should come with me. We could all go together. The elk is a little... The reason I asked about the trains... The elk can be seen from pretty fucking far away, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Open grasslands.
We want a spot to hide him for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Mithra can easily follow this one person. They know them well, and you can do the command. You can do the I'm interested in this person. They feel the interest, and you guys can follow along from a nice, great distance. Everyone roll me a d20. Do not roll a 1. This is going to take over for your stealth check. A 1 would be some sort of catastrophic, I've made an error and definitely alerted attention, but anything shy of a 1 from this distance should be fine. A 2 and a 3, but I don't see no 1s. You follow them for the rest of the
Man, I've
day.
been rolling like absolute shit like all day yesterday and today. It's fucking Nick has cursed me, man. I don't know what to say. Like something happened.
You can follow them all day long, and they run for a time and then slow down to a walk, look over their shoulder, walk some more, look over their shoulder, stop to drink some water, look back up the river. They keep looking behind them, expecting something. And they move as fast as they can. Their base pace is quite good. It's quite a bit better than anybody, I shouldn't say anybody in the party, than most of the party. Yeah, Gray is the slowest, so Gray will probably have to ride on Damir to keep up with everyone. But it can be done. Yeah, you follow them until the sun begins to set. And that's when you're much further down the river than any of you have probably ever been. There's been no sign of other songless or other Tomen. There are creatures around, and we do need to make an encounter check. No encounters for anyone today.
He just gets crocodile by a wild crocodile along the river.
It's possible.
All of our hard work is just. It's like those videos where they like try to release the bird that they like,
and it hits a bus or something.
And it just immediately, yeah.
Yeah, well, this section of the forest, the deeper out of the forest you go, the less the danger. In the grasslands, the danger is even lower by far. So this last little section right here is relatively safe. And eventually the sun begins to go down. The creature is still plodding downward as the sun sets.
All right.
They seem to be following the plan.
Yeah. I think we just wait, right? Now we just wait for something to happen. We'll see if something happens.
Okay. Something's going to happen. Tell me about this camp that you're keeping an eye on. You're keeping an eye on it from far away. You're staying in the camp to make sure that no one's sneaking in it by nightfall or something. How do you keep your eye on this outpost?
A combination of you. I think our actual camp will be similar to when we scouted it, right? Where we would, we were probably like half a mile or so away where we're actually resting. I think we always have a watch on it. Mithra's constantly flying up and about, and Gray probably in particular, since he's the most stealthy, he can take his time. Is going to be there. Notably, we are going to be like constantly scouting and patrolling downriver, like where people would approach it from, right? Like we're not just going to stand there and wait to be ambushed.
Sure.
We're doing sort of like a wide berth of awareness of things in the area. So we're basically just spending our time patrolling the surrounding forest and using this camp as an anchor and center.
Yeah. And I think like it seems that with our animal companions, it shouldn't be too difficult to keep watch and
Absolutely. Yeah, can I get what is the highest charisma score in the party?
Good question. Is it?
I guarantee it's one of the animals, probably.
Well, oh God.
It's not us.
Mine's 9.
Me and the elk are a 7.
Mine's a 9. Mithra is an 8.
I think 9 is our high charisma here. Yeah, Iskar has a 3. 9 is our high charisma.
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
The Tomen are not very charismatic creatures. They're so self-sufficient and calm. They don't really need a lot of leadership. Everyone's just independent and vibing in this peaceful, idyllic, tropical little world we've got here. So they do have a response. You will hear or probably see from a great distance creatures moving through the forest before they arrive at the encampment. One of the problems with spying from far away is getting a really, really clear and good picture. So all you can tell at first is that there are a lot of them when they come back. It's not just your friend. What was his name that we'd come up with? It's not just good old Violish Durna, you know. It's a bunch of them. Capsule? What?
Bean Capsule. You asked what his name was, and I was like, saying that Bean Capsule was.
Yeah, there's a lot of these creatures. There's at least 10 coming through the woods. Can I get one of you, whoever's got the highest perception score, to make me a perception check? It's based off of wisdom, but it could have been trained as expertise by a rogue.
Yeah, my passive is 16.
You have plus
And
6.
I have plus 6 expertise.
What's your?
Yeah, then that's you.
Yeah, it's definitely you.
And then Mithra has keen sight, but I don't know if that affects anything for me.
No, I just need
gonna
you. Yeah.
Or
Natural
let's do the other
1. Okay. Cool. That's all you get. There's a bunch of them, and that they're all sort of heading back to that same place. They will be there 5 suns from the time you let them go. Right on schedule.
I assume we're all together. We collect some distance and say, I suppose we'll wait for them to arrive. We don't want to be in there. We want to be in the forest from our high vantage point. We had a high vantage point from which I could literally shoot them from like a few hundred feet away. So that's probably the ideal place for us to be. And we're going to wait for them to enter that open clearing, because then we'll get a much better picture of them.
Okay.
Once we see what's there, we can decide.
Well, they come on into the clearing. And you can kind of sneak up and see from far away what is happening. This is the one I'm looking for. Coming up to the clearing, you're going to see this. There are 5 creatures like the one you took captive, plus a couple more back in the camp itself, and then who knows what is in the building or what might be lurking in the outside. There are 4, 5, 6 of the things that we had been referring to as archers, hunters. There's this guy who you've seen before. You saw him at that very first place where things are being taken, and he's got 2 of these other big songless next to him that you've not seen before. And as you're, approaching, they're not standing in this formation. They're sort of moving about, and what you're seeing is that this tree in the middle is being felled, or not quite felled, but trimmed back. The branches are being cut off so that it's just a bare trunk, and being affixed to that trunk is your friend, your captive songless friend, who is now tied to the tree.
No fucking way. Oh shit.
And then
Remind me, was there 2 that they had taken captive?
one definitely died. One was definitely taken captive, and the other one, it wasn't sure. They went after them, and it wasn't sure if they were taken captive or killed or were just gone. Yeah.
So there are 4 of them total?
They were,
because one reported to us.
Right. That was the one that reported, and then one was captive, and then the other you think is dead.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You're pretty certain they're dead. They would have shown back up by now. You should, missing in action, but you're never finding that body. And then they kind of do this thing. They seem to be conferring and talking. This unique one is never more than a few feet away from these 2 people who seem like some sort of bodyguards. These bodyguard type characters wear no shields, but have a large pole arm and then heavy plates of armor across their body. And then the others either head back into the building or venture off into the woods nearby, probably scouting for food. Probably nothing nefarious.
The good thing that I have longbow proficiency now, so I can assassinate. I'm kidding, I can't. Okay, so Gray will say they haven't made any hostile actions to that Toman, right? Like
No, they've just tied them to a trunk.
Okay. Gray will say, I think perhaps what we should do is call Mercy from a distance, since that word is known to them. We can get somewhat close, and that can be called from a distance. Or, he says, I can just walk out there.
I mean, it's obvious what they want.
I don't know that it is. We have to be bold, he says. Gray thinks we can approach slowly and we can call out for Mercy and see how they respond. This could be a trap, but if it is, then at least we know that there's no hope of peace with them ever, right?
Right. I think we should... Okay. I actually think it might be good if you don't show yourself, Gray. They know that you... I don't know if they could recognize our faces, to be honest. Probably not.
No.
But they would recognize the hawk. And he probably recognizes that the hawk belongs to the sharpshooting bowman, right?
If he's there and if he conferred that. I don't want to expose Mitho to that spellcaster, though, if need be.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying your absence could infer a certain threat level.
Very well.
That you might be off away watching, and I do think it's just also a more advantageous position for you to be in, right?
Yeah. So are they? They're keeping two people on guard, but the guy and they're like going back towards the
Yeah, everybody else, after they set everything up, two people stand on guard around the tree, and everybody else goes back into the big building. There are a couple of guards left out front, and you will see these creatures coming and going pretty freely. It doesn't appear to be some sort of highly regimented regime. They're just sort of moving about as they feel necessary.
That makes it a lot easier for us, then, I think. I think you can at least go in and call out for Mercy, even if you don't put yourself in sight. Make them aware that we are here. Make them aware that we're here.
I think if one of us goes, it should be Iskar, right?
Yeah.
We're all going together, but we're going to be relatively close.
Okay.
Within like 30 feet, etc. Like I might be in like the bush or something, but we're going to be like... Because we also need to like... We have that plan of... if something goes wrong, right, our contingency plan is always get to the elk, right? Like that's so we have like the elk is our center and we're like maybe 30, 40, 50 feet, but like we're,
Okay. Wait, show me on the map how you want to spread us out, or what you want our formation to look like. Oh, you can't move the elk, can you?
I can, but it's like you, let's say that you're going there. We just, as long as they hear us, right, they'll know we're here and we can see how they respond. So like, let's say the elk is there. I might be like here. Moxi might be like side to side. You might be a little further back. You might even be on top of it.
Okay.
Let's not appear timid and scared.
All right. Show force. Show that we're here. Call out Mercy.
Are we standing shoulder to shoulder? Is someone in front? Is someone in back? Can you position your tokens how you want them to be as you walk up to these fellows?
Ray's gonna be up here.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna be here, and then
It'll be like probably like right around here.
And then the elk in kind of an upwards like central position.
Mm-hmm. And was Hethys going on your arm or something?
Yeah, I'll keep this up there with me.
I think I sent down here off the map.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let me give you a new Dahmer.
This looks good.
Perfect. And this is how you present up on the cliff walls.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe like one by one we kind of pop up.
Mm-hmm.
We do like some bird calls, right? Like make them sound around like between us. Furthermore, making it sound like there's more of us than there are, maybe doing different bird calls. But then we're just gonna start peeking in and out, like peeking out from the trees.
Yep.
Okay. One of them shouts back to the others. And soon the whole group comes out. They look across the open field at the toman on the cliffs. They see the elk. They might see the snake. Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. The hawk also probably perched in a tree, indistinguishable from other hawks. The spellcaster of the group, the supposed spellcaster of the group. Oops, wrong button. Will come forward, come all the way up here, and you'll see these other folks like hurry up behind. There almost seems to be some sort of resistance or disagreement amongst them, where these, what are these tokens called? These chieftains are sort of trying to encourage this creature not to come all the way forward. But everyone rushes forward anyway. And then, how close are we? 45, 50, 65. Who was the closest? 65, 55, 55. Ooh. 50 to you, 50, 45. Who's this over here?
That's me.
That's you? All right. It's you. He points, and then he beckons you forward.
Sure. Gray's actually just not even going to hesitate. We discussed this, guys. If they don't want to, if they don't show peace, then so forth. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going to step down and walk towards him. I'll have my like bow right, but it won't have like an arrow like knocked.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an arrow in hand? Are your arrows just in a quiver?
In a quiver.
Okay. The
But no
creature,
arrow in hand. No.
the creature in front of you, begins to cast a spell.
God damn it.
What do you do?
I'm going to let it. I'm not going to do anything. Fuck. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to stand.
I don't think I can let this.
You see that you know what spell casting looks like. Hands come up, motion, like hands begin to swirl around. There's this loud intoning of these words. It reaches into its cloak and pulls out something hard and holds it in the sky above it as it begins to like press the thing in its hand towards its forehead.
Oh, this is a real test of faith for Alabaster. Because he still really this is like a moment of decision for him.
Ray's not doing anything.
There's two paths in front of him right now.
Iskar looks over to Alabaster, kind of giving him the like, don't do it look. Don't do anything. He wants to hold the course.
Is there...
You can either roll initiative right now and hope to interrupt the spell, or you can let it resolve, because it only takes an action.
Koibu, what's the wind?
What's the wind?
Yep.
It's a
Perception check,
7.
knowing
1,
your
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The wind is blowing in this direction across the...
Strongly? Calmly?
Rolling my dice here. It's a moderate wind right in the middle.
Fuck.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're trying to do, but it's a 5 out of 8.
Well, it's like a snap of the moment decision. His prayer is to be in tune with nature and listen to what nature is telling him. So this is where his intuition sometimes comes from in moments of conflict. All right.
The winds are blowing.
Yeah, hold on. I guess it's gonna have to be a willpower check.
What do you do? Are you rolling in? I need to know. I need to know. Are you rolling initiative?
No, he doesn't do it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Gray of Morning Mist. Please make me an intelligence saving throw.
I'm pretty good.
Or you can just accept the spell and not try to save against it.
7.
That is a failure. This creature before you is probing your thoughts. You can feel its mind at work inside your brain, searching for knowledge, searching for meaning, and you can feel it sort of rip in. You have like your thoughts, and they're sort of just like echoing back out at you, like you're talking to yourself in a tunnel. Every thought you have has like a little slightly different echo coming off of it. What do you do?
I fail this save. He's probing my mind. I think my instinction is to, obviously, like I feel it. How does it? A slight distortion. Gray. He's gonna focus on a singular thought. I think he's gonna try and focus on a singular thought. Speak. Like I think speak, talk. Like he's non-violence. He's probably focused on what they are here to do. Yeah, I think that's what he's actually thinking about. He's thinking about he's here. He could be killed. Actually, you know what? He's afraid. He is afraid because this spellcaster could probably kill him. This spellcaster is stronger than him. He's realizing now in panic how vulnerable he is, but he's here hoping to speak to him. That's it. That's what he's focused on.
The creature speaks to the others around him and then moves forward, closer towards you. The bodyguards follow closely.
Can we tell that he's affected by a spell? Probably, right?
Probably not. It's a mind reading spell. Yeah, you saw him cast something, and now he's walking towards your buddy.
Okay.
Are their weapons raised? They might be in their hands, but are they raised? Because mine's neutral at the moment.
No, their weapons are sheathed at their side. Well, actually, they're pole arms, so they're holding the weapon in both hands in front of them. You have to. It's a pole arm.
It's not like a. Yeah.
It's not like a I'm coming to get you.
Yeah. Gray will raise his hand towards the others. Sort of just raise his hand, and he's gonna. He has his bow in hand, but he hasn't drawn an arrow. Same. He's gonna wait.
Yep. What if Alabaster trusts the plan?
Uh-oh. I just need to know the range of this other spell. And it's a weird custom spell that I wrote, so I got to go look it up. Oh, range is 5 feet. He walks right up to you. Right up to you and begins chanting, like holds a hand out, not to touch you. He looms over you, a good 3 feet taller than you, and puts a hand in your direction and begins to chant yet another spell. The first one went well. Why shouldn't this one? It should be fine. Right? Artie watches. The spell resolves. The creature turns and looks and seems curious. And then he looks to one of the guys next to him, makes a flick of the wrist, and this one steps forward, puts his pole arm out in one hand, and reaches towards you to grab you with the other. He was going to make an unarmed attack. Just a good old regular...
You're really pushing it here, man.
Good old regular 14 to hit as he goes to grab you. That does beat your 13 AC.
Isn't grab a contested athletics or acrobatics check?
You're right. Grapple is contested athletics versus athletics or acrobatics. You're right. I was thinking second edition. Go ahead and roll me whichever one you'd like. Beat a 21. Ooh, you do. He goes to grab you, and you can avoid the grab. Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let this guy just grab me.
Yeah.
like he's like this, like Gray's gonna sort of like, so like he was going for a. Describe to me how this grab attack looked. Did he just like casually walk up to me? And
Well,
like,
the pole arm was held in 2 hands. He just holds it in one, not effective as a fighting weapon. Goes forward and like reaches for your wrist.
Alabaster shouts out mercy.
Yeah, Gray's gonna step back and like not let that happen. That's a little much.
Yeah.
This guy turns when you shout
gonna
mercy. And White of Alabaster, I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
I got it. Wait, saving throw. Oh no, it's just an int roll, right?
It's on the saving throw table. Yeah.
Wait, is it?
It's just to the it's just to the right at the top.
Blind. Yeah.
Fuck. Natural 1. All the
Dude,
bad
my
rolls. This creature is in your mind. Your thoughts are echoing back out at you. What are you thinking, White of Alabaster?
Can I tell that this is happening? Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Am I familiar with this kind of magic?
No. You've never had anyone inside your mind before. It's the rudest thing in the world.
Yep. Then I'm just scared and frightened and also offended, and my thoughts are racing between these. Fuck, we gotta kill him. Fuck, we gotta get out of here. This was a mistake. What the hell is happening? Why did I do this? My dad was right. This kind of stuff.
He points to you, and he points to Gray, and he points to Iskar, and then he points directly in front of him, like at his feet.
I look over at Iskar. Fuck.
He points to the sky, speaks a few words, and sets out a 26 damage fireball to burst in the air above you.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. I look at Iskar and signal to him very clearly that we should come down. I'll leave Dom here behind, obviously in a position where we might be able to flee to.
Iskar nods and follows.
Party comes to stand before him. The other guards start to move in around. They go to grab you by the wrists. They are surrounding you. They're everywhere.
Dude.
Are we resisting? Are we making athletics checks? I think we're making checks.
There's no point at this point, right? It's too late. If they wanted to just kill us, they would have just killed us.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They want something else.
We are committed at this point. We're naive creatures. We might be naive creatures in a way, but we can't win this fight, and we can't escape. So.
Yep.
They grab you.
Yeah, I don't resist.
Take you back. Once they hold you, they're so strong. Some of these guys have 16 strength. Some of these guys have 18 strength. It's amazing how powerful these creatures are. You find yourself approaching your friend, who hasn't said anything during this time. And as you get closer, you can see that they've been gagged, unable to speak. And you can just see them shaking their head as you get closer. Soon you find ropes tying around you, lashing to you.
God damn it.
And the whole army moves out, back down the river, back towards the enemy town. You are now captives of the Songless. You have surrendered
Got bamboozled
to them.
Well,
you just talked yourself into surrendering to your most hated enemy.
Oh my god. Shit.
Your animals can feel your frustration. your fear, your pain. Do you think they might try to lash out at the people who have taken you when they can feel your anger? Can you communicate peace and, you know, good deeds or fear to them, tell them to run away, or might they lash out when they have no hope?
I honestly, at this point, White of Alabaster still has some hope.
Maybe they'll be nice to us.
That something's gonna come of this.